I mean, I've always used drugs, like forever. And it's always been like something that I've just held as a part of who I am and how I cope and I get through life. And it's me, and my work self is different than who I am in here. And I don't know, it just got to be too compartmentalized and too segregated and fragmented senses of myself. And yeah, I don't know. And it just wasn't working, because ultimately it is really hard to keep your timeline straight when you are actively using methamphetamine. Hey, my name is Amber. Buju ani nandino managatok ubanang wabinishmo jima mesko nani kwa inadishna kas mako indudem segin nangnina nandunjin down. I started a YouTube channel under the name A Stream, and I posted a video back in May, June, something like that, because I felt deep in my belly that there was like a time crunch, that I had been trying to start or wanting to start or talking about or planning or recording videos for a YouTube channel since like this time last year, just before I turned 28, and I'm going to be 29 right away. It was going to be a significant birthday, you know, turning 28 on the 28th. You only get one of those once a lifetime. And I remember when I was younger, I used to, well, I don't know if I did it often, but I looked in the mirror at myself like this. And I smiled. And I remember my face vividly as a little girl. And I wondered, who was I going to be? What was I going to look like when I was 28? What kind of life would I have? What kind of family would I have? What kind of job? What kind of friends? Would I be happy? All these things. And so last year, when I turned 28, I cried because I was not who I thought I would be when I grew up. And it's not that I didn't become someone awesome. I did, in a lot of ways. But in a lot of ways, I was hurt. Life was hard. Life is hard. And it's taken me a long time to kind of integrate these lessons. What I'm learning now is that it's a lot harder to live life than it is to not live life. This is going to be the story of this is who I am. Me finding authenticity, who I am, and whatever.
See that? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa.
I am super, on one hand, I'm really open, super open. I don't care about sharing my story. I really, really value honesty in life. But for a long time, I haven't been honest with who I am, with myself, with my friends, with my family. Mainly, I haven't been honest with who I think I am, or how I talk to myself, or how I view polarities in life. And I think that's caused me a lot of harm. Because thinking back to who I was maybe 2-3 years ago, I would go to work, I would act one way in community. I'm a psychotherapist, child and youth care worker, counselor, mental health worker, frontline worker, worked in child welfare, worked within sexualized violence, worked with Indigenous peoples, Indigenous populations, in ceremonies and in Indigenous nonprofit organizations. I'm a sun dancer, pipe carrier, former homeless person. You know, when I was a youth, I ran away from home a lot and I was living on the streets and selling drugs. And a lot of my story, I'm not embarrassed to tell. What I'm embarrassed to tell is who I think I am or how I treat myself, as opposed to how I present myself or how I want others to see me. I really want to look like, I really want to be an inspiration. Maybe I'll just move this and sit in this chair. Okay, so I hope that that's not, yeah, okay. I really want to be someone who is successful, someone who has great connections. I really want a partner in life, a husband, someone to have fun with, someone who, you know, I can share my life with. And ultimately, I just want someone to love me. I really want to feel like I am loved, because my whole life I have not. Even though I've had people in my life, like family members, I don't think that I've been able to allow love into my life because when I was younger, my parents were not able to love me the way that I needed them to love me. And it's not that they didn't try. They were the best parents they could be. And ultimately, they're the parents that I chose in this life to teach me these exact lessons. Ultimately, I believe that we as souls come here to experience life. And everything we choose for us, or we choose in advance what we want to experience and what we want to go through, and exactly what we can handle, what we're giving us a challenge for, to help balance our karma, our dashes, our yogas. Anyway, I guess I'm just gonna cut to the chase. I am a meth addict. I'm a speed user. I was thinking of how to like say it without, you know what I mean? Having all the stigma attached to it. But I don't really think there is a way. And I've been trying for a year. It's going to be my birthday right away. And I've been trying for a year to come up with a way to spin this, or a way to present myself, or a way to ensure that me telling my story and sharing this with all of you isn't going to embarrass me, ruin me, send me off into the forest somewhere to live my life alone and forever lick the salt of my wounds about the horrible decision I made to come out on YouTube like this. But ultimately, I want to have this channel. I want to share what I learn. I want to have connections. I love the whole idea of having a community of people that I can just talk about cool things with. I mean, who wouldn't love that? And when I was a little girl, I was so about like, you know, I always wanted to have a TV show, or I thought it'd be so cool if I was on like reality TV, or if there was like cameras following me, like very Leo type person. But as I got older, and the more that I projected this personality of what I thought I was, or who I ultimately was presenting and thinking I was to the world, I didn't pursue that. I became shy, I became anxious, I became nervous, I became self-conscious, I became needy, I became attached, I became controlling, I became selfish. And I think a lot of those things that I was doing was coming out of a place of lack. Like not trusting that I'm gonna have everything I need in life, and that I'm capable of making decisions. Because I really feel like that's what's been happening for a while. I have been like unable to move because I'm so concerned about what people are going to think of me. I've been feeling ashamed. Well, no, actually I haven't. When I first started using, I started because I could not live on this earth anymore. I was so heartbroken with how we hurt each other, how families can't love each other, why my family, why I couldn't feel the love from them, or why they were hurt, or why they were alcoholics, why they fought each other, why my dad was single, or my mom dated men that she didn't There was no love in the relationship. She was just there because she needed them financially. These to me were just so, I just couldn't understand it. Because to me, life was about love. I just wanted connection. I just wanted to connect with people. I just wanted to have a family. And I couldn't understand why my family was so messed up. And I think growing up, I love people. And the more that I seen people, the more I would just be so heartbroken about the way people were living or how they were treated or the experiences they had to go through. And by me going to work and achieving all my goals I had set for myself and just still not feeling satisfied, still just not feeling like I could enjoy my friends, still just not feeling like I was worthy. It fucked me up. It did. I tried to commit suicide. I don't even want to like say that. Trigger warning. I tried to kill myself. I don't know. Tried to die by suicide. I'm trained in assisted suicide prevention training. Anyway, so I'm trying to think of like what ways to actually say it, what's going to be correct, what's the right language, but ultimately I tried to fucking kill myself. That's the end of that. And I didn't die. I tried 3 times. And the last time I just, like, I had the best job. I was so happy. I was making great money. I was able to provide for myself. I had a new child. Everything should have been going fine, but yet I would come home at the end of the day, at the end of work, after putting on a big show for everybody, it felt like, and then I would just drive home sad, and I would go home sad, and I would eat alone sad, and I would have Christmas dinner by myself sad, and I just couldn't make sense of that sadness when everything was, I achieved everything I ever wanted. But it just wasn't authentic. It wasn't true. It's everything that I thought I wanted based on the personality that I created in life to get me through some of the hard shit when I was younger. And ultimately, I just think I need to like shed that shit and really figure out who I am. Because right now, I don't know who the fuck I am. I really don't. I mean, I thought I was, well, I'm a lot of things, and I still have my credentials. I'm still all those things. I don't want to undercut myself, but I also don't want to like be so melodramatic. Yeah, anyway. It's hard because as a facilitator in community, I work with people, I teach people, I present information, I talk about things. There's like a lesson plan. There's a reason when I'm in front of people talking, it's to teach them something, or I'm there to kind of impart wisdom or support or give love or something. And here in front of the camera, I just feel like this is hella selfish, which it's not, and who cares if anybody watches it or not. It's for me more than anything. But I just still feel like there's something I should be doing of value for you when I truly do believe that people standing in their authenticity and being who they truly are and doing what makes them come alive is of value. So I wonder why I'm undercutting myself like that right now. I find that really interesting. I'm gonna be curious about that. So I'm a psychotherapist. I specialize in psychosomatic therapy, which is like kind of body work, going into the felt sense and into your physical self instead of the mind and away from the head, and the thinking and the brain, and just calming down and settling into yourself to heal from trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, complex psychological trauma, that type of stuff. I'm currently in training now as well, doing another type of psychotherapy program. Same thing, psychosomatic. It's just a little different. It's called compassionate inquiries and being curious. Whereas the other one was called focus-oriented therapy. So we're focusing in on the felt sense and in the murky area to try and uncover the memories that our body has kept, because our brain couldn't process them, or they fragmented them, or they did something to hide them from our conscious. And I truly believe that in order to solve or work through subconscious bullshit, we need to be conscious about it. And that's something that, you know, my family, they've always been like, Amber, you're way too, you never can just like keep it chill. You're always analyzing, always thinking, always asking questions. You're always getting so deep. You're too blunt. You're too harsh. You say things, and you know, yeah, I do, because I think that there's a lot of value in people who can just tell it how it is, and there's a lot of value in people who have lived a fucking life, and there's a lot of value in people who have the lived experience as me. So, yeah, this is me starting again what I started back in June or July when it was Cancer new moon or full moon, one of the two. Either way, it's going to be Leo full moon at the end of this month. And for anybody who does astrology, I'm a Leo rising, which means that a Leo full moon on my birthday, January 28th, with a ascendant. Anyway, okay. Let me just regroup. I posted this video. This channel is going to be about me trying to live my very best life. Trying to be the best me that I can and the most authentic. Then. And now, here I am to actually begin that work by saying I put problematic substance user or uses substances problematically, or however I've phrased it, and I skip by it really fast. I want to be authentic, but honestly, I couldn't. I've always used drugs, right? Like forever. And it's always been like something that I've just held as a part of who I am and how I cope and I get through life. And it's me, and my work self is different than who I am in here. And I don't know, it just got to be too compartmentalized and too segregated and fragmented senses of myself. And yeah, I don't know. So I tried to create projects and start projects and do different other YouTube videos, and it just wasn't working, because ultimately it is really hard to keep your timeline straight when you are actively using methamphetamine. I could spend hours working on the computer and coming up with all of the plans and scheduling and agenda and getting none of it done. I mean, that's how I've lived for like the past 2-3 years. And I mean, I think enough's enough now. As much as I like the energy and the confidence and the ability just to tap out of life a little bit, and also to get me through life, because when I started using, I didn't even have the energy to get out of bed. But I also was in such a go, go, go mode with the world, working, striving, obtaining, having business cards and having a cool name and having a flashy title and having a car and all these different things that really doesn't matter at all, that I couldn't see. And I don't know. It was just too much pressure. And doing all the videos I was trying, I would record a video and then I'd have to edit the video, and then maybe it would be a different day when I'd finish it, or like I wouldn't finish it, or like my makeup wasn't cute. And now like this, I don't know. Who even cares? Because the plan is that I am going to quit using. Yeah. Tomorrow. I know that, yeah, if I want to quit using tomorrow, I might as well just start today. But I would like to finish my drugs first. And I'm doing research, just like who I am and how I do things. And I'm also kind of nervous, because I've tried to quit before and it has been tough. There's something called brain zaps, and it's like your neurotransmitters kicking back into gear after your dopamine levels drop, and your serotonin, because methamphetamine, it impacts your I don't want to say neurotransmitters, no, it's norepinephrine. There it is, norepinephrine networks. So that is a type of like chemical that your brain produces to connect with other parts of your brain, to get them all working together. And so there's something called SSRIs. These are serotonin reuptake inhibitors that send brain waves from one end of the brain to the other end of the brain, and then they connect and they talk to each other. And you know, dopamine is your happy chemical. It's when, yeah, and serotonin is when you're sleepy, and it helps regulate your that word now, homeostasis. I'm sorry. It's like late at night, and I mean, I'm a meth addict. I don't know if that's a bad joke or if that landed or not. I'm sorry. Anyway, so these, because I've been taking it into my own hands to regulate my brain chemistry, if you will, or I don't know. I think it's interesting because a lot of like meth started when, if Adderall we use today for ADHD and different things like that. Truckers used it. It was used in the wars when it first started so that soldiers could stay up later and not eat and be out there killing each other. And like that came from the government. So, and did you know Bayer made heroin? Yeah, they're the ones that started heroin. So it's like all these friggin' companies, they're ruining the world. Ugh. So I've been doing a lot of research today, looking on like how I'm going to not detox, but withdrawal off of this drug, and how I can get through it. I've tried a couple times, and the lack of care for life is worse than when I had tried to kill myself, because then at least I still felt sad. I still felt something. With this, I feel nothing, to the point where I'm like, there's something wrong with me, that I'm just so nothing about life, because at least on the drug, I have passion. am interested in things. I can spend hours on one thing, focusing and just completely engrossed in my activity, and that's so nice. I mean, these activities are total wastes of time that don't amount to anything at the end, even though I work so hard on them. Yeah, it's just like my friend the other day spent like 3-4 hours, maybe 5 hours, turning a piece of cardboard into a tiny little box. He even wrapped it with wrapping paper, and there was no need for that. And I just looked at him and I was like, what a waste of time. Like, there's so many better, different things you could do with your time. Why are you doing that? And he was like, why are you trying to learn astrology? There's so many different things you could do with your time. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. I'm being judgy when it's the same thing as tomato, tomato. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to waste my time. I want to know what I want to do, and I want to go for it. But I am also worried because Crystal ain't messing around. That's another bad joke. Okay, hold on. So I moved again because I don't know. I need my glasses, but because of the ring light, I can't put them on to see if this is like, does it focus over here? I'm not sure. Yeah, I can't tell. So I don't want the whole video to be completely blurry and me not realize it, and then at the end it's done. So I think if I move around, then it might straighten out. Let me see. Huh? I think that's okay. I don't know. Anyway, to finish off the video, where was I? Oh yeah, looking perfect. Was I there? I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know if I was there. Let me think. Yeah, I can't tell you. Oh no, I was talking about my friend in his box. Yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. I think I'm ready to get back into living life. This time last year, I was actually just starting to figure out that me having a covert addiction, or a substance that I used and didn't tell anybody about, was actually problematic. Like, I had a boyfriend that I was absolutely so in love with, still super in love with him. for like a year and a half. And then with some of my colleagues, I told them about my my recreational, no, I'm just kidding, my my using. And does your partner know? And I said, no, nobody knows. You're the first ones I'm telling. And they were like, what the heck? And I was like, is that a bad thing? And they were like, yeah, you should probably tell him. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about telling him, because I've just been not telling people about it so long, it didn't feel like lying anymore. I'm realizing now that, yeah, it is lying. There's a lot of gray areas in life, and the gray areas are just not, they're not a good place to be. I used to say I love living in the gray because I could get away with bullshit. Now I'm realizing how sneaky that is, and I don't want to be a part of that anymore. So, you know, admitting the truth, bending the truth, white lies, not answering fully, or, you know, whatever. Maybe just not telling someone about your secret meth addiction is an issue. And yeah, so when I did tell him, it was, yeah, maybe like 2 weeks ago, last year though. He ended up breaking up with me, and that was like the beginning of the end. And I don't blame him. That is messed up, and I probably like triggered up all the shit in him that, you know, he had trust issues to begin with, and then now, surprise, your girlfriend who you love and who you're living with and who is a meth head and you didn't even realize, haha. It's awful. Yeah. Just circle back to the beginning where we started. I think that everything happens for a reason, and we agree to the relationships and the experiences that we're going to experience in life before we come here. Otherwise, what the fuck are we even doing here? Because living is harder than dying. And when I was trying to make all the videos before on YouTube and not posting them, I think it was still inauthentic to not be true and to talk about where I'm at. And then also, if I want to actually obtain those things on that list, like I said I wanted, and this is who I want to be. And if I work hard at it, of sound mind, I'll be where I want to be. I need to be fully present and here and showing up for the people in my life. So I'm horrified, because that being my fear, me telling you this on the most public AF platform there is, scares the out of me. And for the relationships and the opportunities. Otherwise, I am just isolating myself away in front of a camera. And become that person. As hard as it is, and as difficult as it is, and how horrified I am to be making a YouTube channel about this. I've always wanted to have a YouTube channel, but I've kind of, you know, had a difficult time just picking a concept, because I'm this person who's afraid of, you know, being myself, who, in saying I want to be better without addressing the elephant in the room. And I mean, I've been living my life with that elephant in the room for so long that I just want to get it out and get it back on the safari, get it the hell out of here, so that I could just like be in my room without that. Yeah. Okay, last thing before I guess we start this vlogging the journey of how horrendous this whole thing is. It's not gonna be horrendous. I'm not gonna allow those thoughts. It's going to be great. I've prepared for it. It's going to happen, and that's the end of that. They don't really have anything for people who are coming down off of amphetamines. Medical doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists, like, they try the best they can, neurologists. Ultimately, nobody really knows what the fuck is up with the brain. It's so fascinating. We can try as much as we can, but we don't really know. It's trial and error with everything. And I think that a lot of our society is trial and error in kind of ways that are shitty. The way that our media and talks about addiction, when really it's about connection. People who end up using drugs to cope, to get away from, to suppress, to handle, to live in this world, are some of the most sensitive, the most caring, the most loving. And what that is that we're seeing is someone who just has given up on themselves. My battery's about to die. And they were saying that they don't have any real proven treatment for people who are on methamphetamines, like they do for the opioids, for example. So they kind of give you like benzodiazepines to help you sleep and to stop with nausea and stuff like that. But I mean, that actually creates more medical dependency that you'd have to wean off of because the risk of seizure. So why would, I don't know. Anyway, it's just like replacing one drug for another. And I ultimately think that it's about getting back to living, getting back to the land of the living after you've been in the land of the living dead for so long. I call it the in-between place. And finding connections and getting excited about life again. So let's do this vlogging together, authenticity thing together. And yeah. Oh yeah, and the reason I'm not doing this in the treatment center is because it's hella expensive, and I was on a wait list for like a year already. There's just no beds. So, yeah. Okay, thanks for listening. See you again.